friends, welcome to another episode of Behind the Heepwah. My name's Abby, I'm your host, and I'm this summer's media coordinator here at Camp Ondessonk. I'm from Taylorville, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Walker. I'm one of our adventure unit leaders this summer. I'm from Evansville, Indiana.
My name is Maddie. I'm also an adventure unit leader, and I'm from Tinley Park, Illinois.
I'm Sophie. I'm an adventure camper this summer, and I'm from Troy, Illinois.
How did all of you guys hear about Camp Ondessonk?
Well, it was a little bit ago now. But originally a school visit came to my school and talked about this wondrous place in southern Illinois with a big old waterfall. And I thought it would be cool to go see it. And here I am now, years later.
Yeah, I have a similar story. My cousins found it through their school, and then they would talk about it all the time, and I was like, I need to go there. So we all went together, and the rest is history.
Whenever I was younger and in Girl Scouts, we all decided that we wanted to go to a week-away camp together, so we all signed up for Camp Ondessonk through just connections, and yeah, now we're here, 4th year.
This question's for the staff. What inspired you guys to come back to camp and work on staff as staff members?
Honestly, I have really come to love this place, and it felt like the next step in progression. I looked up a lot to the counselors that I had when I was a camper here, and it feels very meaningful to be here and be serving kids like I got to be able to be helped whenever I was a child and needed a space like this.
Yeah, working on staff at Camp Ondessonk is unlike any job that I've ever had, and you're surrounded by people who are all, they're all their own individual person, and everyone just comes from such unique backgrounds and places, but we all have the same love for camp, so it's really, really special to work with that group of people, and I think that's what keeps me coming back.
And then for Sophie, in the future, do you want to work on staff?
Yes, I'm going to be coming back next year after I turn 16 for to be ACIT. So I will be back next summer, and I'm planning on coming back years to come.
Okay. What makes your guys' adventure programming different than the more traditional programs that camp has to offer?
So much. Everything that we do on the day-to-day basis is unlike what traditional does. We have our own schedule. We have our own crews coming in and teaching for our campers. We also just get to do really, what's the word? Zoned in, honed in, activities that are really specialized.
Yeah.
So.
They're pretty adventurous if I do there, so myself. But so we have kind of a main program called Shawnee Adventures this summer, which is a sampler where we try all different things. We're still very connected to camp, the evening activities and things like that. And we also have some specialty programs like Rock Adventure, where we spend an entire week rock climbing, or Mountain Bike Adventure, where we spend an entire week mountain biking and things like that. So it's definitely different, but I think it's something that's really fun, and it's a great way for kids to get introduced to more backcountry camping or to parts of the outdoors they might not otherwise experience.
For me, I think that adventure is just amazing because we get to stay connected to the traditional activities that I love through camp, but we also get to do some things that are just out of my comfort zone and things that I haven't done from year-to-year basis. So I like to just differentiate what I have done in the past and something that I can try and do this year.
What kind of impact does Adventure Camp have on Camp Ondessonk as a whole?
I think it creates a lot of unique opportunities. It creates spaces to advertise this cool program and allows people to come back in the off season too. We do some service projects that you can see that impact both on camp, but it also kind of creates the activities that are done in the off season. You can come back and you can mountain bike at camp in the off season. But it also just helps create people who are willing to be in spaces in the outdoors and prepared to be in spaces in the outdoors. So if they're camping at camp or other places, they can bring kind of those environmental ethics with them.
So for example, today we took 2 hours and we were just working on a brand new bike trail that goes on to a whole mountain biking plan that we have. Which is really special that we all get to work on it and see this progression for years to come.
Can you ask me the question again?
What Adventure Camp have on Camp Ondessonk?
Oh yeah, so Adventure Camp, we get to do a lot of service activities like today, like Maddie was talking about. We got to put in that bike trail and all of us got to participate and we got to change jobs and we got to learn. We got to be outdoors, we got to work with Evan. So I think it was really awesome and we all really enjoyed it. That's something that I really liked about it because we're doing service, we're working and we're in the heat, but we had a great time while doing it and there was not a complaint. Like everyone had an amazing time and we all were eager. We could have even kept going. We really wanted to. So that's pretty awesome.
Heepwah. This one's for the staff because obviously Sophie's doing it right now. Did you guys do Adventure Camp as campers?
Oh yeah. I did a lot of the adventure camps. I did almost every single one. I did traditional and I had done mini camp and I was kind of raring for something new, exciting and different. As soon as I was able to when I was 12, I started with horse camp and then kind of branched out and did some more of our other adventure programs going from Camp versus Wild or some of our other ones that exist like Mammoth Adventure. And just other things like that. Just explored, had a really fun time, and I wanted to try them all. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I, on the other hand, did not do Adventure Camp as a camper. I just applied for it on a whim one summer, and then the rest is history. But the programming has really kept me coming back because I think that we really get to work in such unique and such beautiful places that not a lot of people on main camp get to experience, or they might get to experience them but not as in-depthly as we are, which I think is really special.
This is a follow-up question for you, Walker. How has Adventure Camp changed since you were a camper or even an adventure staff?
I definitely think it has changed and grown connected to camp in a really good way. We're more part of the camp traditions and part of the activities. It really feels like we are integrated into camp now rather than being Ondessonk and Ondessonk's adventure programs. I think that's been great. I've been having a blast running it. I've been having a blast for years doing the activities, and I think there's a lot of value as well with the group size. We tend to be smaller groups than your traditional units, and it allows us to get closer and really get to know each other and create this really kind of intimate group where we're hanging out all week.
Who was an influential counselor to you guys whenever you were campers here at Camp O?
So honestly, Erin Burns, she wasn't my counselor, but I worked with her on staff, and she spoke so highly of the adventure program and just all the different programming that they did, and I think that's what really made me want to apply to work adventure. But do you have a staff member in mind?
I'm thinking a little bit about Kevin O'Hanlon right now. Kevin was an adventure unit leader for a period of time, and Kevin just operated with such grace and such care, and she was just an incredible person to get to know and work with. And yeah, I had her both as when I was a camper, and then as a staff member I got to work with her. So yeah, it was very much a privilege and honor to work with her and learn from her.
So my influential counselor was Claire, also known as Blueberry. I don't know her last name, but she was my first camp counselor, and then I got really lucky and got her the second year also, through kind of a fluke, and it was incredible. She made me want to come back to camp. She made it extremely fun. She worked really well with the girls that I was with, and all of my friends. She's always remembered me and all my friends every single year, and I thought that was really awesome because it felt more intimate that she would remember us, and it wasn't just a 1 week thing. She actually cared to get to know us as a person and get to get us back to camp every year. So
Heepwah. What's your guys' favorite unit here at camp?
My favorite unit is Chavanel because that was my first camp unit, and I remember just putting all my stuff down in that cabin and going up to my bed and laying down, and there was a waterfall at the time going down, and I like laid in my bed and I looked at it and I was like almost in tears because it was just so beautiful. I've always hiked in Shawnee National Forest, but I've never got to stay in it. So like getting to lay there and knowing that this would be my place for a week was just really calming to me. And I had a really hard time leaving my mom, and it was just like everyone there just made it so fun and so easy for me to get away. And I also really, really like their cheer. So I think it's so funny and so catchy. So
Yeah. So it's barely a unit, but I have a lot of love for it. A Hasatari is a tent camping unit that we used for years in the past on Adventure. We're not staying in it this summer, but it has a nice platform to sit on. It has a good fire pit. It has this really quaint shed where we keep stuff in and a nice outhouse. Over the years, we put up some art in the shed and put some art in the outhouse. So it was a really homey place, and it just holds a lot of fond memories in my heart.
It's so hard for me to pick just one because when I'm like in mini camp, I love Tekawitha. I think that's just such a special unit. Going back like behind the caves and the split rock and everything, it's just really special, and I hold it near and dear to my heart. But I also love Gupel and everything that Gupel has to offer.
Heepwah. Okay, my final question is, what's been your favorite activity that you guys have done this week as a unit?
That's a really good question. So this week we went rock climbing, mountain biking, and we took a paddle ride on the Cache River. I think my favorite was probably rock climbing. It was just we get to see them just like solve the problems like in their heads while they're up on the rock, and also like face some fears, right, Sophie?
right. I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, it was really special, and we also have a nice picnic lunch all out there together.
I'm fine. Just laughing.
So yeah, rock climbing.
Sophie, do you want to answer next?
Yeah, I'll go. I really did enjoy rock climbing. I like problem solving. I also like whenever I can help people on the rock and like to see like how excited they get whenever they face like past that part where they're like struggling on. I did grab a snake in the rock. There was a snake in the middle, and I just grabbed right onto it and had a little panic attack up there in the air. But once I got back on the ground, I was like, well, this is gonna be a story. So, and that it is. And snakes are my biggest fear. So, we got to face some fears. We got to have some fun. So, that was my favorite.
Not to make it all about rock climbing, but I'm a big sucker for rock climbing. I normally go 2 or 3 times a week at home, and it's something I have a large passion and a lot of love for. But I mean, besides that, the Cache River wetlands is such a cool area and a great area that it is protected near us, and I'm glad that we could share with that, especially walking around some of those wetlands after. We got to see a lot of cool herps from above, and it was just a lot of fun.
Are those snakes?
Yeah, snakes and frogs.
I like snakes from afar.
Yeah.
I like
Snakes from afar are really good.
Yeah.
Also, Heepwah to the church bell that just went off.
Yes.
One final question is, how did all of you guys get involved with the adventure program this summer? Sophie, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. So I accidentally signed up for adventure. So I found out the night before we were leaving, like late at night, that I was staying in adventure. And at first, I thought it was just going to be like completely traditional with just like a few little like, like a little bit of mountain biking, a little bit of climbing. That's not the case. On the packing list, there was a little mistake. It said that we were going to be hiking and tent camping all week. So I was like, this is going to be an adventure. This is going to be an adventure. My parents called and they were like, are we tent camping all week? And I was like, because that's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I do tent camp just like in the comfort of my campsite. But whenever I found out, I was like, we're going to make the best of this. And it ended up being like the happiest mistake I've ever made. Like this is probably like the most fun I've ever had at Camp O. It's so fun, and like I love having a smaller unit because we get to know everybody and everyone is friends, everyone gets along, and I love that. And I think I will definitely do it again if I can. I mean, whenever I counsel, so I definitely will probably come back and try to get in this unit like Walker and Maddie. So.
Heepwah.
I mean, yeah. Adventure has always been the dream. I've been on adventure staff for a few years now. I loved it as a kid. I'm very happy to be here as a counselor and working this. And leading it has just been living the dream. It's like, and it's crazy to think that we're here getting paid to do these fun things and hang out with these incredible people and just be in the woods and honestly teach what matters most. It's a delight to be here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that I don't really think we can, except for like we are so lucky to be working just like such a special program and such a special place. So yeah, I'm just very thankful to be here.
Heepwah, thank you guys for all listening into another episode of Behind the Heepwah. We really appreciate your guys' support so far. So Heepwah to everybody back home.
Bye. Bye.